Well, right now we're taking a live look at Astoria and it's looking pretty cloudy. And as far as Portland goes, we can expect that same pattern. We're waking up to clouds and temperatures right around 60 in the Portland metro area. And those clouds will follow us for the most part of the day. Starting off at 8 a.m., 60 degrees, cloudy skies. Same scenario at noon, 64 cloudy skies. We may see a very slight chance of seeing some showers in the afternoon, but we expect to tap out right around 70 today at around 5 p.m.
I'm a grandmother, and I've lost one of my children, and I've seen my daughter and my other grandchildren suffer, and they continue to suffer.
Well, families continue to speak out as a controversial golf tournament wraps up out at Pumpkin Ridge. This is the event we're talking about, the LIV Golf Invitational. The LIV Golf Tour has drawn a lot of criticism for its big connection to the Saudi Arabian government. And some say it's an example of what they call sports washing, or trying to improve a country's reputation with high-profile sporting events. Yeah,
Catherine Cook shows how one neighbor used his property to send a message to those who showed up.
In North Plains, a light breeze rustles the leaves. It's just the right temperature, and in the air, there's quiet.
2016, 20-year-old Abdullah Rahman Nora.
Until there isn't.
It was the consulate of Saudi Arabia.
This is Ricky Freeman's house. This is his sound system.
Diplomatic norms, those days are over.
And these news clips.
And the story's just not going to die, and the voices don't go away.
They're part of the message he's sending to those at the Saudi-backed LIV Golf Invitational at Pumpkin Ridge Golf Club, right across the street.
We're not against the Saudi people. We're against what the Saudi government's done and continues to keep doing, and that's to have horrific human rights violations.
In 2018, U.S. intelligence officials found Saudi Arabia's crown prince approved the operation that led to the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. And then there was Portland teen Fallon Smart. In 2016, police say the 15-year-old was struck and killed while crossing Southeast Hawthorne in a hit-and-run. Police later arrested 21-year-old Abdulrahman Samir Noura, a Saudi national, for the crime. But 2 weeks before his trial, investigators say Noura, out on bail, removed his tracking device. They believe the Saudi government flew him out of the country, helping him escape prosecution.
We wanted to give a voice to the people like Fallon Smart that weren't able to be here themselves today.
Fallon's grandmother heard about Freeman's demonstration. She came out here to thank him and offer her own request to the Saudi government.
I'm a grandmother, and I've lost one of my children.
Holding a picture of Fallon, Cindy Trippett shared her plea with Saudi Arabia's crown prince.
Please send all of the Saudi nationals who are suspects of violent crimes back to the United States. Golf means nothing to me. Safety, truth, and justice are the foundations of American society and not golf.
It's unclear if her words will ever reach the Saudi government, but Freeman says their message is reaching people here.
You know, you get a lot of people wave at you with just one finger instead of all of them. There's a couple people that wave at you, with two. But, we don't get intimidated from that.
And on this day, on this green, that's all that matters.
We're not gonna take it anymore.
In North Plains, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Some Portland demonstrators continue to cause damage following the Supreme Court's ruling to strike down Roe v. Wade. Portland police say a group gathered in Peninsula Park Friday night around 9 before marching and blocking traffic on North Rosa Parkway and Albina Avenue. That's when police say officers discovered windows broken at a vacant old coffee shop. A local church was told it might be targeted by the demonstrators, so it boarded up windows ahead of time. Flyers show the march was designed to condemn the United States Supreme Court.
I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think it has to do with the fact that young men who can get away with it are enjoying the thrill of mayhem.
Church members say they're happy the protesters did not damage the property, but also worried more protests could damage the building for supporting an end to abortion across the country.
Well, fentanyl is fueling a public health crisis in Oregon, and it's proving fatal for teenagers. This week, health leaders and parents met at OHSU to talk about the potentially deadly impacts on young people who unknowingly take counterfeit pills. Brittany Falkers takes us there.
Illicit fentanyl is surging in Oregon, and it's deadly.
And every death is preventable, and we can do better.
Last year, Oregon overdose deaths increased 41%, compared to a 16% increase nationwide. That's according to the National Center for Health Statistics. Wednesday, a call to action and for awareness to protect teens.
It is a different beast, and it is absolutely vital that we do what we're doing here today.
An OHSU roundtable with community health leaders, school nurses, advocates, and parents. Parents like Jennifer and John Epstein.
Our family was forever changed.
In December 2020, they lost their son Cal to fentanyl poisoning. He took what he thought was oxycodone, but the pill was actually fentanyl.
Since Cal's death, we have learned a tremendous amount about fentanyl, fake pills, and the deception that is going on by drug dealers.
The two are now on a mission, working with the nonprofit Song for Charlie.
This particular component of the opioid epidemic or the overdose epidemic is really new and different.
Fentanyl, a synthetic opioid, is 50 to 100 times more potent than heroin, cheaper and easier to manufacture, and more addictive. It also carries a greater risk of overdose, especially for young people with no experience using opioids.
The counterfeiting and deception issue. You put those things together and you have a really lethal combination. These pills are everywhere. There's a hockey stick of growth of these counterfeit pills, and they can't be told apart.
Even as the death toll continues to rise, teens don't seem to understand the risk.
In our research that we've done nationally, we understand that only a third of teenagers understand what fentanyl is.
The roundtable called for more awareness at every level to broaden access to education and treatment.
We need to educate families, we need to educate students, we need to educate teachers, we need to educate coaches. We need to educate healthcare professionals about the risks of fentanyl so that they can talk to their patients.
Brittany Falkers, KGW News.
A local neighborhood is preparing again for the 4th of July after someone stole American flags from people's homes. The neighborhood is in unincorporated Washington County. Neighbors say someone drove down their street overnight and took several flags. Neighbors said the 4th of July should be a time where people can come together rather than divide.
We don't have that in our city. We don't have it in our country. We're trying to do it here one day, make a difference. So that's the real story.
Neighbors said they also put up the flags during multiple holidays throughout the year.
As we come up on the 4th of July, some local leaders are asking you to skip home fireworks this year. That includes the mayor of Beaverton and Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue. Many people think fireworks are pretty grand, but for plenty of others, they are at best a nuisance and at worst dangerous in many ways. That has Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue suggesting people go see a professional show this year instead of lighting their own.
First thing we're going to try and do is avoid using fireworks if we can. They're just such a harm to everyone around, right? So the dogs, the veterans, even the fire risks. There's lots of reasons to not do fireworks.
TVFNR says if you insist on lighting your own, be aware and respect your neighbors and their pets by keeping it to a minimum and avoiding loud fireworks.
So fireworks can be very, very, very scary for pets.
The pets will appreciate that. We checked in at Bonnie Hayes Animal Shelter in Hillsboro. They are preparing to help extra pets over the holiday period. But there's a lot you can do proactively to prepare. First, make sure your pet has identification on them, both tags and hopefully a microchip, like this little lost dog has, that hopefully helps get them home.
The other thing they want to do now is they want to check their fences and gates. They want to make sure those gates are latching, doors are closing properly so that we can keep animals safe. They also want to create a safe space in their home for their pets now and help them get used to it.
Washington County Animal Services also says keep your pets inside in a place they feel safest. Check in advance with your veterinarian if you feel your pet would do better with a sedative. And even for short outdoor potty breaks, keep your dog on a leash. If they get away, look immediately, alert your neighbors, and
we really encourage you to also take a look on social media and post social media. Specifically, people tend to post about animals on Nextdoor and Facebook.
Finally, check with your local animal shelter to report your pet lost and to see if they've been found. Fireworks are an Independence Day tradition, but beyond pets, firefighters hope you'll consider what pyrotechnics can do when they get out of control.
The last few weeks have really dried things out already. Granted, it was really only like a week and a half ago that we were having torrential downpour, but we haven't had any rain since, and it's been pretty dry. So there's still definitely a high risk.
Okay, meantime, hospital crews across the Northwest are ready to deal with fireworks injuries. Traditionally, the 4th of July is the emergency room's busiest day of the year. And that video doesn't match what we're talking about, but we'll just keep going. So many hospitals have extra surgeons, operating rooms, and staff on standby. Dr. Steve Mitchell is in charge of the emergency department at Harbor View Medical Center in Seattle. He says fireworks are unpredictable and can lead to serious injuries.
Two types of injuries that are by far the most common, and tragically, they are injuries to the hand and to fingers, and they are injuries to your eyes.
Dr. Mitchell says the best way to stay safe this 4th, leave the fireworks to the professionals. You might have seen these pictures over the last couple of weeks. Our Verified team looks into claims of an old Burgerville hidden in Burger King, local slip of the tongue there, Burger King found hidden inside a mall. Stay tuned.